Hello, my name is Natalie Pizzuti, and today I'm going to be discussing blood flow or blood circulation through the heart. Beginning with your deoxygenated blood is going to enter into the right atrium through the superior and inferior vena cava. Once your blood enters, the deoxygenated blood enters into the right atrium, you have something here called your right atrioventricular valve or the tricuspid valve. The tricuspid valve is going to open, the right atrium is going to contract, and blood is going to flow into the right ventricle. Once blood flows into the right ventricle, your tricuspid valve is going to close back up to prevent any backflow back into the right atrium during ventricular systole. So your blood is going to enter from the right atrium through the right AV valve into the right ventricle. The right ventricle is going to contract, and your right semilunar valve here is going to open up and allow blood to flow, the deoxygenated blood to flow into the pulmonary trunk and pulmonary arteries into the lungs. This process is known as pulmonary circulation. The blood is going to get delivered to the lungs. It's going to lose carbon dioxide, gain oxygen, and get sent back to the heart by way of the pulmonary veins leading into the left atrium. So your now oxygenated blood is going to enter from the pulmonary veins into the left atrium. Your left atrioventricular valve or the bicuspid valve is going to open. The left atrium is going to contract. Blood is going to flow into the left ventricle. And then again, that bicuspid valve here is going to close. Once your left ventricle contracts, blood flows through the left semilunar valve into the aorta. And both the right and left semilunar valve close once blood has flown through them to prevent backflow into the ventricles as well. So your left ventricle is going to contract, oxygenated blood is going to flow into the aorta, and the oxygenated blood is going to get delivered to the body. This process is known as systemic circulation. Your right and left atrium contract simultaneously, as well as your right and left ventricles. So all of this is kind of happening at the same time, and your heart is just constantly pumping. Your heart has its own muscle surrounding it called the myocardium, which requires its own supply of oxygenated blood. So for that, we have coronary circulation. Coronary circulation is the process of delivering oxygenated blood to this myocardium by way of the coronary arteries. The coronary arteries are located behind your left semilunar valve here, and during ventricular diastole, whenever your ventricles are relaxed and they have less pressure on them, the oxygenated blood is able to flow into the coronary arteries and deliver oxygenated blood to the myocardium. So during ventricular systole, the coronary arteries have too much pressure because the myocardium is contracting or squeezing and doesn't allow oxygenated blood to flow. However, during ventricular diastole, this pressure eases up and it allows that blood flow to begin. So once your coronary arteries fill with oxygenated blood, and the oxygenated blood gets delivered to the myocardium, the deoxygenated blood then gets delivered into the coronary veins. Your coronary veins are going to empty into your coronary sinus, and the coronary sinus empties directly into your right atrium. So the blood in coronary circulation does not have to enter through the superior and inferior vena cava. That wraps us up for blood flow through the heart. Thank you so much for listening.